Welcome back, challengers. It's your man's Darwin Darko, and I brought with me some dope beats for you to step to. We got 5 projects on the docket as usual. Starting off with Flower Child, Inside Out, Aya Nakamura dropped Destinee, and we have Nova Twins on the third spot with Parasite and Butterflies. This dropped back in August, finally getting around to giving a review here. Olivia Dean, you've heard of her. Everybody's heard. She's been making the rounds with The Art of Loving. And rounding up the rear here, Navy Blue with The Sword and the Soaring. But before all of that, remember to go ahead and like and subscribe while you're here. Help bring up these numbers. You know me, get these videos in the view of of the algorithm and the view of the folks. Help me get these numbers up. Leave a comment while you're here. I respond to all of them as much as I can. Lady is Coco is, I call her Lady. Coco is tripping right now. She just ate, so she's a little excited, and she might want to play, but hopefully she can just act like I'm not here. Okay. Um, so let's see. Again, so the channel is all about you know vibing out to albums, to full projects. I was reviewing the so I guess this will be an honorable mention because I was reviewing when I was researching the Nova Twins. There, they put me onto a game about um, was it October? I guess October being um, album month. Every month you'll have like different. Maybe it might be like cancer awareness or domestic violence awareness and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that those are important things. But also important is promoting full length albums. And they were talking about this album month being in October in the UK. They celebrate this thing. This is dope because they're like saying, hey, we're promoting full album listens in consumption versus what the Spotify universe has got us all doing now. Not me, because I don't even have Spotify, but it's all singles. You put out singles. I actually do not listen to singles. If I know an album is coming out and they got a single that they trying to drop to promote the album, I'll wait for the album and before I listen to the single. Um, and so that's what ends up happening. People make playlists and they'll put their favorite track on a playlist, and that's all they'll listen to. They'll never give the album a shot. And this is what kind of unique about my space here that I've created is all I do is promote albums, full projects. I don't even do EPs. Every once in a while I'll do an EP. If it's a decent enough length or if it's like a special enough project, every once in a while I'll do an EP. But generally I'm gonna do a full album. Somebody who thought this out, and what they were saying on this interview, which was like I was like, yeah, that's what I'd be on. Is that you know there's a certain like putting any song out, putting any project out, it's a feat in and of itself. Definitely. Getting into the studio, getting it right, mixing and mastering all of that, and putting it out into the universe, it's a feat in and of itself. Copy that. But there's like, it's like pickleball. Ooh, do I want to make that comparison? Singles, putting out just singles is like pickleball versus playing tennis is like putting out an album. Right? People pick up pickleball like you have like old folks playing pickleball because they can just easily like the adoption of it is like an easy barrier of entry. Whereas tennis, you might give up real quick because it's frustrating. It is tough. It is difficult, and you will do a lot of even when you get decent at it. You hit it happens all so fast. You hit a ball a particular way. You're like, no, this is what's supposed to happen, and no, and then it just flies completely different. Or you hit the net, and it's frustrating. Pickleball, there's a lot of forgiveness in that. With a single, you can hit lightning in a bottle. It can happen. I mean, it's still tough to catch lightning in a bottle, but some people can do it. But to put out a full album is like, oh, no, 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 no. This isn't a fluke. This person intentionally has a concept. This person intentionally has an art that they have curated, that they cohesively put these songs together and have worked through a process to give me an entire body of work and put it out into the universe. it's nice, and a single is nice. You have a couple ingredients, but that entire, but it's like your favorite thing. So I'm recording around Thanksgiving time. You know, you go to some people's house, you know what I mean, and you can have like, they really good at the mac and cheese. Maybe they might be good at the pie, but somebody that can like throw down on that whole thing, put that whole meal together, there's something special you say about that, right? And give them the credit that they do, give them the flowers that they do. So that's why I promote albums. This whole channel is all about the promotion of full length albums, full length projects, um, and I don't even and stuff that is worth listening to. I don't even spend my time on albums that are not good. I'll listen to them, and then if I listen to it and it's not good, I keep that to myself. But if I'm gonna do a whole recording and edit and all that kind of stuff, it's worth the listen. Check the catalog. You see, I got a track record. Another honorable mention: Haiti is going to the FIFA. Is qualified for the FIFA 2026 World Cup. Shout out to the family.
It's over! Haiti have got the news! It's a moment 50 plus years in the making! Haiti, for the first time since 1974, are going, yes sir, they are going to the World Cup!
Shout out to the homeland. They won a qualifier, uh, beating Nicaragua 2-0, and the the Haitian internet has gone crazy, has gone wild. You know what I mean? It's a big point of national pride. It's a bright spot in a time when there's been it's been for a number of years now, turmoil in the country, a lot of upheaval. President got assassinated a couple years back. Um, Gang violence throughout. You even got different countries coming in trying to bring in police force and peacekeeping force, trying to provide some kind of support and help to stabilize the situation over there. The big gang leader there, Barbecue, his name is Barbecue, is one of the ones that's um, still fomenting things and still promoting the violence there. He says he's had, you hear the reports and stuff like that. He says he has his reasons and whatnot, but either way, the place is in turmoil. It's been like that for a while. And so for a country that's going through that, matter of fact, Haiti had to play in a neutral field in Curacao for all their quote unquote home games because can't nobody go to Haiti to play, right? And they played in this neutral field, so they don't got their country backing them. They don't got their folks, I mean, giving them energy in the stands like that. Um, and they somehow still made it through qualifiers. They actually, I think they're ranked. I think they're ranked number one in their group. So that's freaking dope. The qualification is a moment of great celebration for Haitians everywhere, for all the diaspora people in the island, and of course the people that's abroad like me or anywhere else in the world. It provides a rare source of national unity and joy for many Haitians that you know that are looking for some kind of hope and silver lining in a time of chaos and confusion with the future of the country. So shout out to Haiti. Shout out to who else? I think this is it Saita? I think this is Saita is a oh man, what a Colombian. I think they're a Colombian brand, and hopefully I got that right. But they're a Colombian brand that they provide the kits for Haiti. My brother actually got me a kit for my birthday a couple of years ago, like an official Haiti soccer joint, and so I'm gonna be rocking that. Can't wait for the games to start. But on the other side of this, we'll get into the music. First up is Flower Child, and I'll see you on the other side. Inside Out is a lush, slow burning statement from Atlanta based artist producer Flower Child. Rooted in neo soul and future funk, the album feels mellow, romantic, and a little hazy around the edges. Rather than chasing big hooks or club ready peaks, Flower Child leads into mood and texture, building songs that unfold patiently and reward close listening. Across the project, you can hear inspirations from artists like Erica Badu, Kitranada, uh, all this early 2000s R&B stuff. What was going? What's his name? I'm sorry, D'Angelo. Of course, we just featured D'Angelo in the previous video, and um, it's it's all rooted in that because that's his history. Because he's a music theorist, right? He is like a musician's musician, right? Um, but it's all in Flower Child's unique palette. He mixes it all up into his own gumbo. There's warm synths, rubbery bass lines, drums that sit comfortably in the pocket without ever feeling stiff. The production is the album's biggest strength. He's a producer. This is his thing. This is what he leans into, and that's of course going to take center stage. Every track is built around rich, layered instrumentation. Drums are soft, but they can still be punchy, giving the songs a laid back groove. Bass lines are melodic, often carrying the emotional movement of the song. Synths and keys provide a hazy analog warmth that makes the whole album feel cohesive. It feels lived in. There is a clear emphasis on space and restraint on this project. Instead of filling every corner of the mix, Flower Child leaves moments to breathe, letting reverb tails, um, background vocals, and small percussive details shine, letting them linger. The mixing is clean, but not sterile, preserving a sense of intimacy like you are in the room with the band, like you're part of it all. The vocals, whether if it's Flower Child's or one of the features, and it's 90% features. Let me see here. So the first track, Pure Temptation, is only credited. Flower Child's only credited. Got the interlude, about a minute 39-second song, um, and the two at the end here. Um, so it's all features, but regardless, um, the vocals are treated as part of the texture, usually sitting tucked into the mix, not on top of it. After all, he is a producer. So that's what he's going to lean into. That's what the project is going to lean into. I was listening to an interview and they asked if he would ever put out an instrumental album, right? Um, and he hasn't done that yet. Um, but he's saying that he's considering it. He's thinking about it. Uh, I, of course, we featured it here before. We do lo-fi albums, we do ambient sound albums here. We do pure. We done. I've done meditation albums on this channel because I for one appreciate that, and I'm talking about full albums again, right? I can appreciate um, a full instrumental album by Flower Child. That I think that would be dope personally, but he hasn't done it yet, and he hasn't done it because he feels like he was still doing a lot of learning at that phase of his career. But right now, man, he is established. Is an established artist. He's been doing this for a number of years. He knows his sound, and I think definitely he can put something like that together, and it would he can carry an entire album on his own without any features. The tracks that I think would be best to jump right into, like, Pure Temptation is the first track on the album, and it's a dope way to start the project because of his jazz fusion instrumental neo soul mix. It's a lot going on here. A little bit of alt rock at some points, right? But Pure Temptation introduces you to like, here, hey, here's the buffet you're gonna be stepping into, and this is a great intro song. It's not a song in and of itself that you would probably play. It wouldn't be on anybody's playlist. But if you do a full project, or if you're doing an album, you would put the song in here because it would be kind of like a prologue to a book, for example, right? It fits perfectly. It gives you a small taste of what's to follow. Bittersweet is actually the first song I would say on this thing, and this one was put out as the standout single for the project. It's one of the more immediately catchy songs that you're gonna find on this thing. It's built around a memorable hook and these winding this winding like bass line that is it practically carries the track by itself. It reminds me a lot of internet from but like early internet like ego death. Reminds me a lot of ego death. That project was what was that project? That project was come on now, 2015. That project was 2015. You get a lot of vibes of that, and like I said, gets his inspiration from from these earlier projects from other folks, but he still has his own unique sound that is very distinctive. Inside Out is one of these tracks that you would probably it's a slow burn. A little bit slowed down. It's a little bit different tempo than the rest of the project. It's more romantic. It's one of these late night tracks that you might listen to if you're I don't know you're by yourself or you got a late night drive. It's the drums are airy, even the vocals are airy. It is and he actually shows off his vocal ability on this joint, which is which I'm not completely sure about because where's this one? What was it? The Inside Out, right? Because there's some ad libs that's happening on there that are like, oh, is this him singing on the ad libs? That boy could sing. The ad libs are nice on this. That boy could sing, but I don't know if it's him. But he's the only one that's credited on this thing. So so I guess that's him. But shout out to him because he doesn't really like. I mean, I don't know if he said. I can't recall if he said he doesn't like to sing like that, but he is solely focused on the music making part, like his big focus. When he's turned down opportunities to sing on tracks and on even on his own projects because he'd rather be part of the like I said, like this guy's a musician's musician. His father's a music director. You know what I mean? I don't know what school he's teaching at, but like he does marching band and all that stuff, jazz band and everything. So his dad really got him into the music thing, music maker thing, and like he studies music theory. And I'm talking about like the bones and the DNA of this stuff. So he is really focused on that the production side. But man, that track Inside Out, he might got some other hidden talents here. I don't know if he might want to tap into a little bit more often, but the lyrics go, I'm feeling pressure, a vice that keeps inviting me. Not desperate, I'd like to take my time with things. Can't rush this. I want to learn you in and out. I'm focused. You're for me without a doubt. Slow, slow, slow burn. I really want to get to know you inside out. You can't buy love, but girl, I'm sold. You're damn near perfect. If portrait of a lady was a person, um, patchouli rose, raspberries, your essence, epitome of beauty, ain't no question. Them lyrics is just that romantic stuff. Them lyrics is like that's the spitting that game, that fire. That's like melt your heart type stuff. So shout out to I mean it's neo soul, so you mean you're gonna have to have the lyrics to match if you're gonna venture into them waters, right? Across these songs, the through line is consistency. No track feels like filler, and each one contributes another shade to the same dreamy, soulful atmosphere that Flower Child is creating on this thing. Inside Out is less about big moments and more about a sustained feeling. It's the vibes, as the kids say. It is the kind of album that works perfectly for uh, for listening front to back. You you could be at work, you could be driving. If you need it to be background music, again, the lyrics and the vocals aren't really highlighted like that, so you can just kind of melt into it. Put it on at the end of a long day, and let it settle your soul down, settle your energy back down to like just kick it. You know what I'm saying? Flower Child proves to be a thoughtful producer and curator of sound in general, prioritizing the warmth and the groove and mood over any flash. You're not really going to get a lot of that here. It's going to be consistent throughout. If you are into neo soul, or groove oriented production, this album lands as a deeply satisfying listen. It's subtle, it's cohesive, and it's something that's going to be replayable 5 to 6 years from now. Destinee finds Aya Koko Nakamura continuing to refine the sound that makes her a global force in modern francophone pop. Coming off the success of earlier projects, she leans even further into melodic, catchy songwriting while staying rooted in Afrobeats, R&B, and contemporary French urban music. The album feels like a snapshot of Aya in motion. It's confident, flirtatious, emotionally grounded, but always in control of her narrative. There's no reinvention happening here. It is the sharpened sound of somebody who is curated and has a signature of her own and is blending it in these chants, these hooks, infectious rhythms, all delivered in these conversational style lyrics. The production across Destinee is sleek and highly polished. It's built for repeat plays and playlists, which would be my one kind of gripe with the project. It is 18 tracks of it. It kind of comes across as 18 tracks of singles, right? And I've been harping about promoting albums and the beauty of albums and the project of creating an entire body of work that's like a complete meal. You know, you got your vegetables, you got your fruit, you know, you got your sides, you got your mains and all that stuff. Where singles is just like candy. It's a bunch of candy. So there's a lot of candy on here. I'll give you that. But it's also fun. It's also Aya and confident that, you know, I can forgive it and say like if this would be an Aya playlist, this would be like a great Aya playlist. The production across this thing is going to be mid-tempo Afro beat, Afro pop type of grooves, syncopated percussions, and bouncy drum patterns that keep everything moving without ever feeling rushed. The melodies and the harmonies are simple but effective. These chords, you get these progressions that leave plenty of room for Aya's vocal lines, which often sit right between singing and rapping. A perfect example of this is the closing track, Kuma, which is this. I mean, she almost sounds like a mix of. She's a French version of SZA and Meg The Stallion, almost. So it's almost like I mean, like sometimes like, is she could be rapping really when it comes, but you know the new pop, rap, R&B, what do they call that stuff? The contemporary, is it contemporary? They call it contemporary R&B. That style almost leans really a lot like hip hop, and it's of course across the pond there. The sound palette you hear is a blend of warm synths, bright plucks, understated guitars. The energy is depth. With you know you got some occasional piano. The sound palette across this project, you will hear a blend of warm synths, um, bright plucks, understated guitars, an occasional piano here and there. Nothing feels overcrowded. Arrangements are tight and efficient, but they're made and mixed to make sure that the vocals is what is center stage. And in these vocals, the ad libs are layered. There's harmonies throughout. adding energy and depth. The use of autotune is just for mostly aesthetic. It's nothing is done. No autotune is used that sounds like it's for corrective, right? It's for corrective message. More for like reinforcing the modern sound of what pop music is globally at this point, right? Just to give it that modern feel. But she can sing, right? So trust that. Overall, the production is laser focused on catchiness and replay value. It may not be experimental in a traditional sense, but it is extremely effective at delivering banger after banger. It's a track list, like I said, of singles, pretty much. It feels like a lot of earworms, hooks on there. There's a lot of stuff is danceable. No Stress is one that you should check out. I think this was the lead single off this thing. It's the second track on the project. It's highly energetic, massive hooks, crisp drums, the kind of track that you immediately recognize as classic Aya. It was released shortly before the album dropped. She's flirting with some my piano sounds here. Of course, is Caribbean rooted rhythms, bringing a fresh, danceable energy. And yes, there's a visual. So check out the video for that one. There's a lot of melanin just popping in that joy. It's a beautiful video. You got some dance moves in there. Her dance moves are pretty subdued. So I don't know how much. I mean, it's so wild because we don't. I mean, in pop music, we expect pop artists to have dance moves. I don't. This is wild that we expect them to sing and dance, right? But I mean, you know, the old school artists did all of that stuff. We think about the Rat Pack, right, and all of these guys. Like you think about shoot, what's the name? I forgot her name, but she used to dance with Frank Sinatra. But like she was like, yeah, I did everything. Not Frank Sinatra. Damn, who she danced with? Fred Astaire, right? Was it Abbott and Costello? Who am I thinking of here? The phrase is Ginger Rogers. What did I say? I don't know what I said. The phrase is Ginger Rogers did everything Fred Astaire. That was right. Fred Astaire did except backwards and in heels, right? And these people are performing. They're singing, and I don't know how much she does, and so she's trying. She's trying her best, and it works enough for the video. But I know like Beyonce, for example, goes crazy, right? Well, that's a big part of her thing. But you're not gonna see Adele dancing because she's just like, I'm a singer. I'm gonna stick to that, right? She might do a choreograph, might turn her here and like move left to right, kind of thing like that. But like, at some point we need it. I mean, you really gotta blame about this stuff. It's like cats like freaking James Brown, Michael Jackson. You gotta blame these folks for like, it's standard. Or Elvis, it's standard that you dance when you sing, and you got to make it happen, right? But across all these tracks, the through line is Aya's presence. It's charismatic, it's sharp, and always at the center is the vocals. The my favorite track on here, I told this to my brother. I shared this with my brother. He wasn't feeling it as much as I would. Is Baddies. Joey Duet Fillets on this. It's the second to last track on this thing. This is the first single that actually came off the album. Of course, it's compa up in that joint. You got Joey on that thing. It's Afro inspired. It's a club ready song. It's ready for the summer. Although this project came out, when this joint came out? This one came out last week. So it's ready for next summer, I guess. But it's slightly rhythmic. It's slightly different in the rhythm from what you've been getting from the rest of the project. There's another song on here that I can't recall right now that came across as like, oh, this might be a little compa adjacent. But this one is a breath of fresh air, and I love that it's leaning into the compa, which is the Haitian roots. Shout out to Haiti and Joey on this project, and he is doing big things, and being able. I mean, Aya is huge. She's won all kinds of awards, gone all kinds of platinum and stuff like that on the French charts and stuff. She, like I said, she is pretty much their SZA, or pretty much their SZA. I guess I would say, with a mix of like Meg Thee Stallion here and there on some of the tracks that sound like she's kind of rapping a little bit, but like she's huge. And like Joey um is man, he is doing great with his career, and and you love to see it. And again, I love seeing features like this because it gives like that validation, right? So we featured Joey on a previous episode. Like, man, check the catalog. I be telling y'all, I got some stuff, got some gems on the playlist. I got some gems on the catalog. Go check out his project. But to have him featured here, and knowing that Aya is co-signing that is freaking dope and amazing. The only thing is, I wish Baddies came up earlier in the album. It's the second to last track. Now Kuma is the last track on here, which is it's dope. It's a nice closer, and it doesn't have as much plays as, let's see, shoot, dang. Actually, Baddies is the number one song off the, well, it was a single. So these singles, man, they get the numbers up, and so now the whole album goes double platinum or platinum because of Baddies. But Baddies is that dope. Baddies is dope on there. No, this is the second to last track on there, and I wish it came earlier on the album and switch up the tempo a little bit, to switch up the rhythm and the vibes a little bit earlier on the album. Then we can get to the rest of the project. But either way, Destinee reinforces Aya's status as one of the most reliable hit makers in the contemporary French pop scene. It is not an album built around a big concept statement. Like I said, it's a bunch of singles, really, that are just enjoyable. You don't really have to think too deeply of what she's got going on here, but it's built around this tightly curated vibe of dancing and no stress. That's track No Stress. Second track, like I said, is on this thing. It's no stress. It's infectious. It's confident. If you come to Aya for strong hooks, quotable lyrics, rhythm-driven production, this album delivers exactly that. It is the kind of project that works both in the background and at full volume. Parasites and Butterflies finds Nova Twins doubling down on what they do best. Hypercharged, genre-mashing rock that refuses to sit down. The duo pull from pop, punk, metal, grime, hip-hop. They weld it all together into something that feels completely their own. Across the album, there is a strong sense of evolution from their earlier work. Their hooks are sharper, the production is bigger, the songwriting feels more deliberate without losing the chaotic, rebellious streak that defines them. Lyrically, they stay locked in on themes of identity, defiance, and self-worth, and the refusal to shrink themselves to fit expectations for the landscape of what rock music is supposed to be. It's a lot of rock. It's predominantly going to be rock, right? And heavy, like, rock sounds, right? Whether musically, culturally, or personal, they're not shying away. The production is loud, it's dense, deliberately abrasive in all the right ways. Their signature heavy fuzz bass tone still drives everything. This is probably my new favorite bass player. I'm new. I ain't gonna front. I'm new to Nova Twins. Freaking Georgia South. Georgia South is her name. It's the bass player there. And they are, I'm looking here, they were shortlisted on the 2022 Mercury Prize and led the band, receiving 2 nominations at the Brit Awards. They're British, by the way. It's something about black people speaking with that accent that just makes them sound a little bit more just like interesting. I don't know what it is about it. You got, Idris Elba, Idris and some of these guys, even the dude from Atlanta, he's actually British. You like, look it up. Paperboy, am I right? Paperboy, is Paperboy British? Right? You know what? I'm not going to check that. Y'all check me in the comments. Let me know if I'm spot on it. I'm pretty sure I remember him being like British. Their most recent album, this one here, Parasite and Butterflies, released on August 29th. And I saw an interview where they were talking about, a lot about the music making process. They're talking about um, the oddity of them being part of this rock scene, right? And how they are leaning into it and trying to make a space and carve a space of their own. Um, but man, I don't see a lot of people doing what they're doing, especially when it comes to the mixture of genres that they're putting together here. And what Georgia is doing on that bass is freaking biblical. The drums are hard hitting, often with a blend of live drums and sometimes mixed with some synthetic stuff, almost industrial textures sometimes added to that. The grooves swing between punk, speed, assaults, and hip hop influenced head nod rhythms. Vocals cut clearly through the walls of sound, whether they are shouting, rapping, or if it's one of their singing parts. There's a lot of dynamic contrast here. Verses can feel tighter and more rhythmic, while choruses open up into these big, cathartic shouts that requires you to sing along. They require you to scream along. A lot of their stuff is built for it. Man, you should have seen them at um the Tiny Desk, bruh. Shout out to everybody else who done Tiny Desk, and they could bring out full bands, and you got freaking three guitars, you got the drummer, you got the guy on the keys and everything. And like, it's three people on this joint. You got three people on this joint. You got Georgia and you got Amy, um, and the drummer. I don't even remember the dude's name. But drums ain't really that big of a deal when it comes to Nova Twins. It's all about that bass guitar. They got like 1,000 pedals under them, just like switching between sounds on the pedals. Right? That get she making that guitar do things that like that you supposed to do on like AI. You're supposed to use AI to really come. And she's making some stuff. She's got this like extra thing on her finger. She's like wop 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 wop. She's making it sing, just like I don't even know what it's freaking. It's witchcraft. God damn it, is what it is. Amazing stuff. That hummingbird. They sing Hummingbird, which is my favorite track on the project. Hummingbird was my favorite track on the project. And then they did the Tiny Desk, which is even better. And and I'm not even a live recording fan like that. I like live music. I like going to a show, like going to if I'm at a bar or something and a live band is playing, I like that. But man, that the way that the rendition of Hummingbird at the NPR Tiny Desk. I'm gonna put a show in the link. I'm gonna put the show in the notes. Go look at that. You know what? Although the whole thing is worth listening to, is great, but skip to I think it's probably like somewhere towards the middle end of the performance. But Hummingbird, it just this is the type of stuff that like opens up and awakes something inside of you. And do you see them actually doing the work to make it happen? Like they're hitting all those pedals. She's got the thing on her finger doing the like whatever the womp, 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 womp thing that's going on with the bass guitar there. Just freaking magic stuff. So look up NPR Tiny Desk, Nova Twins, skip to Hummingbird, and then go back and start it from the top. Amy Love is a unique talent in and of herself. So I talked about the bass players, but Amy Love, these vocals, she with all the stuff that they got going on music with the musicality of it, her vocals are unique. They're loud, they're strong, they're like she's got a range, right? These freaking Mariah Carey type high notes all the way to freaking some Chester Bennington Linkin Park like freaking level growls and roars and just like burns the freaking mic and looking good. That melanin is popping too much and looking good and gorgeous all while she does it. Both of them. Like it's a sight to behold. It's like for that type of passion and that type of nova. It is like it's like a nova erupting. It's like a freaking a dwarf star that's just like colliding and freaking collapsing and just exploding on these songs. Keep the pressure on. They're saying in one of these tracks, what is this? Keep the pressure on. Freaking hurricane. They come through like a hurricane, and perfect song for them to be for perfect title for them to be called the Nova Twins. Man, it's some beautiful stuff. Again, if they're rapping, if they're singing, whatever it is there's a lot of dynamic contrast. The verses can feel tighter and more rhythmic at times, while choruses open up into these big cathartic shouts. The mix is intentionally intense but surprisingly controlled. You can still pick apart the details of the vocals, even under all that distortion. Overall, the album sounds like a carefully organized riot. Glory is the opening track on this thing, and from jump, you should know that this thing blasts the doors open, going, "Catch a serpent in disguise. It walks and talks just like you and I. Only angels learn how to fly until they dive. Catch a chill down your spine. It's getting late. It's cold outside. Only angels learn how to fly until they dive. Glory, hallelujah. Save you from yourself." Bruh. They're like, yo, I love me an opening track. I love me a dope opening track. And they just like kick the doors open with that joint. Again, Hummingbird, my favorite track on this thing. This thing is emotional. It's a gut punch. It comes as towards the later half of the album. It's a lot of aggression. This track is vulnerable and is closer to the surface, is gentler, is more introspective, but it showcases the band's ability to slow things down at the same time by adding some dubstep into it. There's like this this dubstep that happens into it. So it's still like it's slowed down a little bit, but don't let your guard down because it freaking hits like that, especially that on that bridge. That bridge just freaking just like explodes like in a freaking explosion. I would love to see this thing performed live. It was great on the tiny desk. Definitely recommend you checking it out. Taken all together, these tracks show the range inside their sound, not just anger and volume, but also showing humor, also showing nuance and a sharp self-awareness. Parasite and Butterflies reinforces Nova Twins as one of the most exciting bands reshaping what heavy music can sound like. The album is explicitly framed embracing vulnerability as much as aggression. But aggression aggression happens without losing musicality. That's the beauty of what they're able to curate on this project. If you are drawn to heavy music that feels fresh, feels inclusive, and forward thinking, the record delivers a powerful, high energy listen that rewards both moshing and close attention. Throw your lighters in the air, but it also bang heads. That's what's up with Parasite and Butterflies. All right, let's set the scene. Olivia Dean, this 26-year-old British powerhouse, dropped her debut project Messy back in 2023. It was a whole vibe. Got her Mercury Prize nomination, put her on the map as a star in the making. But with The Art of Loving, which hit the streets back in September 2025, for those of you listening in the future, she's not just making a mark, she's crafting a manual for modern romance. Her rise has been built on genuine songwriting, serious stagecraft, and a grind that puts her in the contemporary legends like Sade, Amy Winehouse. She's all about authenticity, carving her own path and not chasing trends, and it's working. Let's talk brass tacks here. The sonic experience. The mixing is clean, putting Olivia's silky smooth vocals in the driver's seat. There is no heavy autotune here. No. This is there's no crazy effects. This is just crazy vocals. Just raw talent that sounds effortless. Most of the album was recorded in a studio they built out in East London. They call it the House of Loving. This adds to that intimate sound that you're hearing when you plug and play this joint. That warmth, that personal, that DIY feel. It, but it still sounds so polished. At the end of it all, the production is lush. It blends the neo soul, the R&B. You got your jazz in there, the subtle orchestral moments that yo. There's horns that just pop in like seemingly randomly from my from my inexperienced ears, and it's just like I didn't expect that, but that works. How did you think to put that there? Brilliant. Look, that track close up is a clear example of this thing. This thing has 1.8 million plays, and close up. No, that's close up. Close up, yeah. 1.8 and so easy. So easy is another one. 24 million. So easy. 24 million on this joint. It's a tasteful, sophisticated project that I get it. It ain't gonna be for everybody. But I think it would be good for you and for your soul, whatever genre you're into, if you gave this project a listen. There are no skips on this thing. Not a single skip. The opening track, The Art of Loving, it's an intro. It's only 40 seconds long, but it's not big. It's not theatric. There are no theatrics. It's just straight up, just like, here's what I am introducing here. It's a gentle introduction, but it's beautiful. It fits. Definitely like a prologue to like an entire universe that she creates in this thing. She is on a journey of discovering love, discovering loving herself. Um, she has this one thing that's like, she's like, I don't need a boyfriend. She says on one of these lyrics, but but she's like, but we could be nice to each other, right? Is that nice to each other? How does that is that nice to each other? Let's see. This one is she says, I don't know where the switches are or where you keep the poultry, and I'll probably crash your stupid car and make your life a misery. But we could be nice to each other, nice to each other, wrong for each other, right for each other, and rise to each other, rise to each other. Is this the one she said she doesn't need a boyfriend? I don't know, but that one's a dope track too. Um, so Man I Need, that's a good one. This one's the centerpiece of the whole project. It's infectious, optimistic. It's got a hook that sounds like it's inspired by Motown. The vibe is just pure catchiness. It's one of her massive hits right now. When I wrote these notes, it had 54 million spins on YouTube Music. So what is it? Man I Need now has, what is this joint? This joint is 56. 56 million plays. Man, it is doing numbers. People are discovering her in real time, and it's beautiful because this whole project, I hope the whole album has enough love and not just these like ones that were released as singles. I've seen it. This is another dope track. This is the closing one on this project. Perfect closing track. I love it. I love it as a closing track. Great job there. The honesty on here. It's a perfect closer. It ties everything together, ending the album with this peaceful. There's an acoustic reflection. It keeps the all the aesthetics of the atmosphere that it created. There's like birds chirping and this thing in the background. It reminds us that love is everywhere, even in the mundane. She says, I've seen it last for 30 years, seen it bloom and end in tears. I've seen it after school and in the park, sat right across me in the tube, The tube is what they call the metro over across the pond. Seen it miss a stop or two. Remember that? Remember that on the metro? The person that you chilling with, that you talking to, that you vibing with, and then like, yo, you got to get off this stop, and like, oh man, I missed my stop because you seen it miss a stop or two. Seen it trying not to fall apart. I've heard it laced in every song, and still the words all come out wrong. It doesn't always answer when you call, brings out the worst, brings out the best. I understand it less and less. I guess I'm not supposed to know it all. I've seen it dance with friends around the table, in Eleanor, Rosie, and Louise, and it makes me cry to think that I am able to give it back the way it gives to me. This is talking about love in all of its forms, not just the passionate partnerships, intimate partner type, but like your friends, your family. You've seen love in 30 years. She says, I've seen it last for 30 years. Those are the marriages, for example. It's love in all the ways that it comes and goes, missing train stops and whatnot on the tube. I've seen it grow old and forget until it's just a silhouette, till someone picks it up and sends it on. I've seen the films, I've read the books, my mom and dad, they got me hooked. The fairy tale, the search goes on and on. The more you look, the more you find. It's all around you all the time. Catches your eye, you blink, and then it's gone. Brings out the worst, brings out the best. I know it's somewhere in my chest. I guess it's been inside me all along. Landing that plane with the most important love of all. None of that other stuff is possible. Personally, I think none of that other stuff is possible, or at least none of that other stuff is actually true until you love yourself first. If you never had a moment where you're like, man, I fucks with me. I'm the shit. I love me some me. Not in a narcissistic way, but in a value of your existence, of a proposition that you are the greatest love of all for yourself. No one can love you more than you love yourself if you truly love yourself. But people around are like, they fake it. They fake the love in relationships when really they're not happy inside. If they're not happy inside, if you're their partner, beware, because this is all like a facade. Because you can never help them achieve that happiness. They're never really truly happy. There's going to be always something that like keeps that little minor distance between the two of you, because they themselves haven't done the work to get that personal self-reflection completely just like exercised, and those the past and the trauma exercised, and get that dealt with to where they're like, despite all of that, or even inclusive of all of that, I love me some me. I guess it's been inside me all along. That's what the self-discovery is all about. She talks about it here, closes out the project here. This thing has 1.4 million plays. It's not as much as the Man I Need, which says a little bit about our, not just our society, but mostly she's a UK artist here, but like, man, shout out to people making songs about that internal love, that self-love, and that are actually putting it on wax and promoting that so that the rest of us could get that insight. And then we eventually say, you know what? Yeah, maybe I'm not in the space where I'm quite available. You say you're available, but maybe you're not completely available until you truly love yourself. And then you know what you want out in the world. You know what the man you need is. You know what he looks like. The overall vibe of this project is a musical rom-com for the soul. It's classy, it's bohemian, it's genuinely optimistic, even when it talks about heartbreak. It's an emotionally mature, beautifully orchestrated record that feels like a quiet, healing session. It's a work of art. It doesn't scream at you. Amy Winehouse will be proud. It whispers, and you learn the closer that you listen in, the more that you put it on repeat. There isn't a skip on this project. She says she imagines fans listening to this thing. I was watching an interview, and she's like, man, when she made it, she's like, I imagine people listening to this and having an intimate experience. She says in her live shows, she wants to produce, even if it's in a big arena or stage somewhere, she wants to make the experience as if it's still an intimate small room. So this is definitely, I would say, a headphone listen. There's a lot of stuff like on here that like could be played in a lounge somewhere, and you may be in a table sitting with your partner, and you guys are just vibing together because this is giving you that inspiration. But don't short yourself. Give it a headphone listen, a solo listen, because it's intimate. She's talking to you about her experiences, and she says that she recorded this stuff this year. The vast majority of this album was recorded this year. She was going through that stuff. She said this is personal. She was going through that stuff this year. And she's talking to you about it. And she wants it to be like, yo, this is therapy for her. A wise man learned from others' mistakes. And she made some mistakes. And she's looking to like put it all on wax, and it comes out beautifully. Olivia Dean is a philosopher of love. She's still figuring it out, but this album is a testament to that journey. It's an open, honest look at love in all of its forms, delivering modern classics like this one. She is going to be remembered in the pantheon of Sade, D'Angelo, Amy Winehouse. Dog, this nigga is fucking spitting. Bruh. The sword in the soaring, navy blue. This album is absolutely fire. It's mature, it's introspective, and it's layered. The dude is delivering these smooth, deliberate rhythms over beats. Sometimes no beat at all. These things are stripped back, but heavy with emotion. Okay, so who is Navy Blue? His real name is Sage Seltzer, right? You might recognize his name from maybe some of these like skater videos, right? And these competitions. He is a brand sponsor for Supreme and Supreme. There was another one, Supreme. And did I make a note of this? Converse, right? So he's a skater, right? Skater. He's a poet. And even this whole project is a lot more spoken word than it is rap. It's a lot of rap, but like, man, his style is just so freaking effortlessly poetic. It's freaking dope. His music is this incredible blend of hip hop, spoken word. It just feels incredibly personal. It's like he's letting you into his world, his thoughts on life and growing up in America, growing up black in America. The soundscape of this album is essentially its own vibe. First key detail is that the beats are minimalist, but still soulful. They rely heavily on these hazy, jazzy samples that loop seamlessly. It's that lo-fi, hip-hop aesthetic that just resonates with me. I love me some lo-fi. I mentioned before that in my end of year thing back in 2024 of how lo-fi is always ends up being the top of my list when it's like, hey, what did you listen to this year? And it always ends up being lo-fi, right? And I lo-fi hip hop because I read a lot. I read a lot of books and stuff. So it's like I play that as my background music, and it kind of like helps me like just get into the universe, right? I mean, I guess sometimes it's a little bit off because the universe is talking about something that might be a little bit more mellow when the song is a little bit more upbeat. But whatever, it doesn't bother me. It just adds that atmosphere that I need to like really dive into, especially when I'm reading fiction. The first key detail that I notice uh, about this thing is that Sage handles a lot of the and here's the thing, Sage handles a lot of the production himself. So you have an artist who's actually doing the production himself. Like it makes the matching of the vocals and the instrumentation just so much more synchronistic. It's just so much the cadence and the mood, the vision from one like succinct perspective. It's just it's just beautiful. The final product is deeply atmospheric. There's a lot of texture here, dusty drums. We're talking about these subtle vocal snippets, maybe a soft piano here and there, all to create this intimate space. I shared so I have a project of my own that I'm working on, and I shared the this one track with my brother. Everything happens so subtly because the vocals are so it's the vocals are on top. Not that they're over the top, but they're on top. They're prominent. I shared a track with my brother, and I'm like, "Yo, this joint is so subtle. The background music that there's not even any keys on this thing. No, definitely no percussion." He listened to it and he ran it back and ran it back. He was like, "Oh no, there are actually some keys here. You have to listen close." He's a little bit more musically inclined than I am. Um, I'm an amateur, enthusiast to this thing, right? To this whole freaking genre, of this whole thing of music. Um, but I know what I like, and I know what sounds good, and I know what makes me feel something, right? And he's like, "No, listen here. It sounds like this." Da, 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 da. And he did the sound, and I was like, "Oh snap! I didn't even realize that's what that was." That's how subtle this thing's happen because the lyrics are what takes center stage. The vocals are what is prominent because this is music that you feel. This is music that you absorb. The final product is deeply atmospheric. There's this track, Orchids. So it's the second one on this joint. Orchids is produced by child actor, right? Soft piano. We're talking subtle string touches, distinct and distant vocal samples. It's a calm boom bap. It creates this meditative healing space, but it's like rap though. You feel me? Man, they on some Larry June type stuff. Type of like vibes and mellow, right? Although Larry June is telling stories and freaking recalling all kinds of wild experiences and stuff in his cadence of just like calm and just like, yeah, I'm just calm through the storm kind of thing. Um, Navy Blue is spitting poetry on this thing. It shifts from grief to gratitude and it comes through clearly. It feels like self discovery, acceptance, and transformation captured in one song that's 2 minutes and 39 seconds long. God's Kingdom is the third track on this thing. It's deeply personal. It's grief over familiar loss, and he goes through a gauntlet. He goes through a list. I'm like, bruh, I hope you got some therapy, cause he's going through a list and talking about like, and he lists a person and he talks about a specific. It's such a beautiful tribute to a loved one because he talks about the person, he talks about the loss, but then he talks about he recalls a memory with them. Like living with them in the moment when they were alive, and how it sounds like you can't make this stuff up. You can't make some of this stuff up. And it's beautiful. The rendition is like a great memorial to those folks. It lays bare pain and mourning, but also hints at perseverance, survival, and the weight of heritage. 24 Gospel is the 12th track on this joint, and this is the only feature on this project. Earl Sweatshirt. You know, I love me some Earl Sweatshirt. I've had him before in previous seasons of the show. Had him on a project on before. What's that one with this where he's like putting water on his face? Was that Earl Sweatshirt? Oh, I gotta look it up now. Hold on. Oh man, I'm looking now and like, damn man, Earl Sweatshirt has been on some shit. Doris 2013, some rap songs. Love that project. Live Live Laugh Love is another one. I don't know if I that hairline on Live Laugh Love though. The the cover on that joint. Yo, what's that? He's got a flower in the back. I forgot what that flower is called. If Only is another track that I just love on this thing, particularly about this one line where Sage says how he never saw his father kiss his mother as a child. And it really resonates with me because I thought about that kind of thing, and like I never saw my dad date my mom. I never saw, and at this point, both my parents are dead. And I talked last time about how I'm starting to lose memories of what I have of my mother. I was 14 when she died, and it was just glimpses of who she was as a person, how she um, shared life with me and love and the experiences that I've had and some pivotal. I can't remember a pivotal moment when my mom was around. I live a big chunk, like the vast majority of my life, I've lived without a Mother. Imagine somebody who's alive now, who their mothers died at birth. That's like wild to think, right? But they did never really never had a mother. They only have a memory of a mother. Just somebody that like lives through pictures and stories. I I didn't have many pictures. We didn't grow up with pictures. My parents, for poverty reasons and growing up Haitian, didn't take a ton of pictures. So I didn't have all those to fall back on. And my dad wasn't one that would share stories. I was talking to my brother about how, like, man, Pops never shared stories or told us about her. And and I got to thinking about that and thinking about how I do in relationships and stuff. And not to say that, I mean, I've had a lot of growth since having these realizations. I've discovered a thing called therapy. And apparently a lot of black people still don't believe in therapy and don't believe that it's a useful uh endeavor, it's a useful profession. Or like, no, I have enough friends, I have enough family, I have enough sage advice in my life where the profession of paying somebody to do this as a profession, it's not necessary. You just talk to me. I think freaking is it 21 Savage or not 21, or Young Thug. One of them was talking about how, like, he doesn't want his girl to go to therapy because she should be talking to me. She don't need to be talking to nobody about our issues. Anyways, I mentioned this to someone. I might have been my brother, but like, I never recalled my dad dating my mom. Imagine you're alive right now. You have both parents in your life, and you've seen your parents get dressed up. You're getting a babysitter because they're going out for the night, and she's dressed up like, Mom, you look kind of looking like a thought. You know what I'm saying? It pops is like, I still got it. She still got it, kind of thing, and like trying to take her out, and you know what I mean, that proud of that, you know what I mean? And mom's is like, my man is doing this thing for me and taking me out and stuff. Dating as a married couple with kids. Like, I never saw that. I never even saw my dad kiss mama. Did I see him kiss her? I might have seen him kiss one time, ironically, in somebody else's wedding or something like that. But like, I never saw them date. I never saw them really like un unprompted show affection towards each other. Yo, if you still got your parents in your life, both of them especially, and they're like still doing their thing and they're still together, like these long term relationships, it's it's few and far between. Cherish that. Toast to them. Matter of fact, toast to them. I hope our generation can still experience something like that. Uh, so like I was saying, Earl Sweatshirt shows up on this thing and freaking kills this verse. Thematically, this is transmutation. We're talking about turning pain, tears, loss into something meaningful. It's a statement of growth, resilience, and survival. Sage kicks this thing off going, I meander. The path zigzagging like a jack o' lantern. What? 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 Who rhymes that? Meander and jack o' lantern? I would have never thought to, bruh. I write poetry. I would have, bruh. Meander and jack o' lantern. And again, it's all part of how you pronounce it and everything, how the enunciation goes. But that's freaking dope. I meander, the path zigzagging like a jack o' lantern. My inner light relying on my candor. To make the expedition, gotta plan first. Plan first. Candor. Jack o' lantern, meander. That's freaking gorgeous. All of those words, none of those words should be rhyming. Maybe meander and candor. None of these words should be rhyming, but then he makes it work. I mean, okay, all right. All right, I'm gonna be stuck here, like, just like the beauty of this writing, because this is poetry. Hip hop is poetry. This is modern day poetry, y'all. I meander. The path zigzagging like a jack o' lantern. My inner light relying on my candor. To make the expedition, gotta plan first. I plan. No, he's. To make the expedition, gotta plan first. I had the premonitions, gripping grimace till my hands hurt. All that petty banter when I was busy kicking cans. Young black gifted like the Panthers. Past life regressions at a glance. I speak the language of the heart. Those who seek it understand. I trust it. Where I'm meant to be is where I am. Spirit led me through the ash and left impressions in the sand. Earl Sweatshirt is like, nah, dog. Nah, dog. You ain't finna have me out here looking goofy. You ain't have me out. So your boy had to come through and put these bars down. Swift on my toes, stick with me. Pick up the tempo and pulse. The ninja blender spinning until they pulp. Unfiltered, the Brit are broken. Swift on my toes, stick with me. Stick with me now. Pick up the tempo and pulse. The ninja blender. Swift on my toes, stick with me. Pick it up. Pick up the tempo. God, dog. Oh my God, this wasn't spitting. Swift on my toes, stick with me. Pick up the tempo and pulse the ninja blender spinning until they pulp. Unfiltered the Brit are broken. Bruh, better had a cup spilling. His missus won't give up or go. Tough titty the hoe. It took a toll on him, mental to never switch up, but still want different results. Sisyphus lifting a load. Oh my gosh. Nigga. That's a well-read nigga right there. It's a slippery slope. The boulder big and wide. Aloha, I mean goodbye and hello. Thin Lizzy, the boys back in town, the villagers know. Sin City, local kiss the ground, I've been here before. Sitting pretty, I'm the one who manufactured the stone. Advantage me. I broke the tie. We had to move in. We had to move on. Answer me, please. I had his Baba cast me the stone. I had his Baba cast me the stone. These boys is out here spitting, rhyming, straight poetry, and all kinds of freaking unconventional rhymes, bro. It's the vibe of Sword and Soaring. It's meditative. It's reflective. It's deeply, deeply soulful. The vibe is one of gentle self-discovery and quiet resilience. No party banger in sight. Sorry. Sorry. Honestly, the ideal setting is alone. I guess picture yourself kicking back on your sofa. Maybe you got a glass of something nice nearby. Navy blue demands your full attention on this thing. It's like 90%, 95%, 99% a solo project. You get Earl come through, slide through real quick, and he ain't dropping the caliber one bit. It demands your full attention. It's a must listen for real heads looking for this. If you're gonna make a playlist and you're gonna be on these playlists, again, I'm here just for albums and album reviews, and that's what I'm promoting. If it's full album listens from top to bottom sort of thing. But if you try to take a break from that playlist and get something that's deep and introspective, this is what's up. You know, I want to close this out by the closing minutes or the closing minute on 24 Gospel. This isn't the last track on the project, but it could be, because it talks about what the whole battle has been about when it comes to hip hop, when it comes to poetry and the life and death of hip hop. And people are predicting the death of hip hop, but I say that it's what they say, rumors of my demise are premature, and I would say that with hip hop. Nas announced it back in, was that 2004? The death of hip hop. Hip hop is dead. I mean, and other people have come around and they might have proclaimed such things. And I get it. I get what they're saying, man. Mumble rap, that era mumble rap was like, I mean, you even got, what's the dude named Designer? Panda. Like, he's put out a new project. I don't know if I might need to review. I might need to give a full listen, but I've heard some songs from him, and I'm like, yo, dude can rhyme. He's from New York. Dude can spit. Like, this is what's up. There was a vibe that was going on that he was like, yo, let me tap into this real quick, make a quick bag. And, he did his thing. But, like, he's put out a project now that, like, it's off of that mumble junk. It's like on some lyrical, introspective. I'm not saying it's conscious. It's still street rap. It's still some boom bap, but it's like, it's way more contemporary hip hop that I would say is for the grown folks. And he's been in the game for a minute, so he has the experience under his belt. I hope he don't tap into these new cats, man, and just try to like catch that wave again, because I love what he's doing. I love that he's decided to really take this craft seriously. And 24 Gospel ends with, I think this is from a movie, but this is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about respecting hip hop, respecting the poetry of hip hop. We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race, and the human race is filled with the passion. And medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits. They're necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for.